Hello, I'm Catherine Cooper, or some people like to call me Cat. Welcome to my classroom here in Spain. I'm originally from Stratford-upon-Avon, England. I have over 10 years of experience working in schools in Coventry and Warwickshire. I've worked throughout the key stages from preschool all the way up to secondary. I worked for supply teaching firms, mainly Monarch Education and teaching personnel. In that time, I gained a lot of experience. I did ESL classes, which was my main speciality. I also worked with children who had autism and Asperger's, and I was a behavioural specialist. I even trained teachers who had to go into schools to cope with difficult behaviour in the classroom. So not only did I work in mainstream schools, I was very lucky. I got the chance to gain the experience of working in SLD schools, which is mainly for disabled pupils, as well as EBD schools, and the students there suffered with emotional behavioural problems, and I worked with primary and secondary, and it was really rewarding to help them. As well as my teaching skills inside the classroom, I have other passions in teaching. I like to teach dancing. I'm a United Kingdom professional dance teacher, and I've been teaching dancing for the last 20 years. I'm also a personal trainer and fitness instructor, which I've been teaching over the last 10 years. I'm an excellent communicator, which led me to working for various radio stations. I got to produce my own shows, choose the topics, also choose the music, and interview several guests. At the current moment, I still do some correspondence for BBC Coventry and Warwickshire radio station, reporting on various events happening here in Spain. As well as being an ESL teacher, I'm recently a TEFL teacher, which I can show you from my classroom here, my certificates, just to show you what I'm qualified in. So I've got my advanced certificate in teaching English to young learners, as well as my 120-hour advanced teaching and my 160-hour teaching, and I did that through TEFL Full Circle. So I have experience in the classroom in England when children came to England and were immersed in the language, so they had no other choice but to learn English, and I helped them through their classes and mainly focused on their English. And now I have the skills and requirements to teach children in foreign countries and adults. So this is basically my classroom, and this is the equipment I mainly use for working currently. I didn't know whether to go for the laptop or the computer then. So I do a lot of work on the laptop. I like to have everything ready for my student, because if they're online, it's hard for them to look at books. I do use flashcards though, and let me just show you one of the flashcards I've been using with my student at the moment. We have talked about getting up. She's 7 years old, the girl I've been teaching in India, and we've used flashcards. I have sent these to her so she can cut them out and play with them. I like to find out about my students first, so I get her to read everything out so I can set levels and see if she struggles with any words. We do go through the alphabet. This is the first worksheet I ever used with her, just to find out a bit about her and making sure it does come from her, because I know that certain parents do like to also sit in on the classes, first of all, and they try to answer for them, which we don't want to happen. We do like it to be just the child or the student or the adult learner, so that nobody helps them at first, because I want to find out their weaknesses to make them into strengths. So I do set out plans, my aims, and where I want her to go. And usually after the third lesson, I do give them homework. I do like them to practice at least 10 minutes every day on words they struggle with. The technology I tend to use Zoom for teaching a lot of the time. I also use WeChat and Skype. And if I could give an advice to any teachers, is set up early, always be prepared for the unexpected. The best time of day for teaching is before the class, so you make sure you've got everything set up and you're ready. And every child deserves the chance to feel at the end of their class they've enjoyed it. They need to go away feeling positive about something. So even if they've had a bad lesson, give them a positive comment so they go, oh, I did all right in that actually, even though it was really, really hard. You've got to make sure that they feel good about themselves, that they learned something, and say, well done about that. So they give themselves a pat on the back and say, that was really good. And then tomorrow, focus on where you need to help them a little bit more.